Allow yourself to come to the mat, to rest your back, taking your time settling. Remember to bring enough support under your head that it elevates your head without overstretching the back of your neck, so that you feel you have ample space in the front of your throat and in the back of the neck, with the head slightly tipped forward on the top of the spine. The feet are hips width apart, and generally the edge of the back of your heel is under your knee, somewhere in there that you find balance for yourself. Your hands resting on your torso, your elbows away. Let yourself relax with each breath your back to the floor, and include the back of your pelvis, the back of your ribs, and your shoulders. And with your eyes open, drift your eyes to the left and then your head and neck to follow, as you let your left knee fall away from the right and slide down the mat. Release the leg completely, let the head rotate back to the center. Then swing your hand from the corpse pose all the way up, lengthening the left arm away from the foot. Turn the head slightly to the right. Release the entire left side of your body. Allow your breath to respond. Return the head to the center. And as you blow the breath out and it's moving towards emptiness, press with your right foot as you guide your left foot back to semi-supine and your hand back to your torso. Observe all the positive changes on the left side of your body. The better contact you have now with your foot, the wider you feel through your ribs, the more openness throughout this side. Allow your eyes to open and look to the right as your head and neck follow. Drift your right knee away from the left and slide down the mat. Extend through the leg. Return the head to the center as you drift your hand out through the corpse pose and all the way up into length. The right reach for you. Turn the head a little bit to the left. Feel that Y shape in your right side. And open all through it. Taking some of the kinks and efforts out of that side. Allow your head to rotate to the center, to float at the top of your spine as you press down with your left heel and slide your right heel towards your sit bone, bringing your hand back to the torso, elbows gently away from each other. Notice the changes on both sides of your body. And begin to blow the breath out, either in a hissing sound, or as if you were blowing on a candle flame, or maybe an F sound. Then open the nose and allow the breath to flow in naturally. Repeat several times. As the ribs are falling down and the breath is releasing out, the spine is still lengthened and open, floating into its full shape. When you've completed these motions of breath, let the breath return to a natural rhythm. As you drop your hands down by your side and slide your arms out through the corpse pose, palms up, further and further up until you've lengthened your arms above your head. Let your chin drop down. If this V shape of reach is enough for you, stay here. If you want, travel further, think out to your fingers, lengthening as you bring your hands toward each other, pausing occasionally to reach out a little more and bring the arms together interlacing your fingers, pointing your index fingers out, and perhaps hugging the edges of your head. The chin falling towards the chest, eyes open or closed, the feet dropping like heavy raindrops through the heels into the ground. Continuous reach to the arms. As you breathe out and the breath returns in. Separate the arms and rotate them all the way back down by the edges of your hips. Pause at the bottom of your next exhale. Press down with your left heel as you bring your right thigh up over your belly. Take your hands and interlace your fingers, shin to the body. Roll the head gently once or twice to keep lubricating the neck and spine. And release your thigh out to the side and back again, rolling your leg and bits of your pelvis, your leg, feeling movement. Feel the breath responding as you release and rock your leg a third time back to the center. And relax your arms, feeling the depth of the hug against your body. Let the leg float up for a moment. Maybe the knee is still bent. Maybe you have full release of your leg. And then fold the leg back and set the foot down. As the heel drops on the right side, lift the left thigh into the belly. Interlace your fingers. Hug the thigh in. Roll the head to soften the upper spine. And then start to move the leg, left thigh in and out, rolling with the intention of getting to know your leg and releasing through movement, feeling graceful way your leg can roll. And about the third time towards the center, pause to hug the leg in, followed by a float of the leg up. That could be with your knee bent, just holding the knee, or it could be a full extension with your hand all the way to the ankle, and followed by folding. Hug the leg in and then drop the foot to the earth. Rest your hands by your side. Let your body respond through the breath, being more aware of your contact with the floor. Then move your hands up and release the books or supports that you have under your head away from you as you lengthen your upper back and head to the ground. Your arms will lengthen out behind you one more time. You'll feel your pelvis curl under, widening your arms to collarbone level. Press down through the left heel, bring the right thigh up and then the left thigh. Float your legs around in the sockets, followed by falling to the left, dropping your legs to the ground, knees aimed towards your left elbow. Bring your left hand on your legs as you spiral your upper body and your lengthening spine to the right. Sigh the breath out of your lungs, perhaps audibly. Work with your breath, your sound. When 2 or 3 breaths pass by, rotate the head and eyes back to the center. Release your left hand from your legs and float your right thigh open like a book opening. Roll the pelvis through, back towards the center and right on over to the other side. Drop the knees towards your elbow, your feet to the ground. Right hand gently touching your legs as you release your head and neck, your rib cage to the left. Begin to sigh your body into More and more release on the floor. Ah, feeling this twist through your spine all the way up to the neck. Ah. As 3 breaths pass by, you'll release your head, your arms, and float your leg, first the left, followed by the pelvis on the right. Float both legs up in the air for a moment. And as you fold them, fall to your left and right up to sitting, facing the front of your mat. I'm going to face the camera here. Rock to find your sit bones. Treat every movement as important and mindful. Perhaps trying to imagine that each place that you are is an expression as if you were on stage at this moment. Oh, the kind of awareness that you need when you're on stage, feeling your whole body dimensionally as you sit, as you breathe. Getting a sense that every shape you take is telling a story. Feel what the story is at this moment. Moving into throwing the ribbons by putting your right fingers on the floor, letting your left arm travel up with the ribbon and rolling your way to the side, either onto your hand, feeling springy as this left leg relaxes to the ground, as your pelvis separates from your ribs, as your head leads your spine and your fingers are reaching out, maybe resting on your forearm. Push away and come up. Throw the ribbon in the opposite direction and over we go. Oh, so many nice things to think about while we're here. Moving out towards the left wall. Again, think a little theatrically, think a little dynamically through your body shape. Then push off the earth, come up to sitting, pause, rest your shoulders. Feel it light, smile or widening, as if something pleasant and even humorous were coming to your mind. Whisper ah. Turn to look to the left, bringing your right hand to the left knee. Take your opposite arm and wrap it around your waist. Look over your back shoulder for a moment. Breathe. Now keep the body, the shoulders, everything going in the direction it's going, but turn your head to look down over your right shoulder to your right knee. Many different dynamic directions. Let all the directions occur. That your pelvis is dropped, your legs are dropped, you're spiraled from the waist to the shoulders, and spiraled in the opposite direction through the neck. And look forward, let your shoulders return underneath. Allow the fullness of breath as you drop the back of your hands against your legs. Turn to look to the right. Rotate your shoulders, take your left hand to your knee. Bring the arm behind your back and turn a little further. So you're pulling on that front right leg as if to bring it to the other side, the left side of the room. As you spin your upper body. Stay through the shoulders and turn your head to look down over your left shoulder and at your left knee. Twisted and twisted in so many directions. Feeling the length of your torso. Think of the dynamics of a matador. Very dynamic through the spine, or a tango dancer. Breathing elegantly and dynamically into the body. Release your gaze forward. Release your shoulders. Allow your sit bones to drop. Feel that humorous smile that's coming through the cheeks and a whispered ah. Bring your hands behind you. Feel your palms, your heel of your hand settling. Roll your shoulder blades gently together as if to kiss. Raise the heart. Lift the chin. If you like the feeling of dropping your head back, you can. And then lift the head, drop the belly, and push forward. Turn to come onto all fours. Rock, crawl yourself to the middle of your mat. Feel the length of your spine as you go forward and back, lubricating your shoulders, your hips, maybe even stirring in a pear-like shape, kind of circling, a little wider at the back through the hips, a little smaller at the shoulders, and then reverse the direction. Back and forth. Then move gently into a rounded cat back, relaxing your neck, letting your hair, imagine it being very long and dripping down a great distance to the floor. Come back towards your heels and spring forward with your hands as you bring your right knee forward, your foot to the side, and undulate through your shoulders, through your hips, coming into pigeon. Left leg extended behind you, resting on the top of your foot, settling deep into the hip. Then growing forward, widening your back as you hold the head from jaw to skull, sending it out and away, lengthening over the folded right leg. Oh. Play with your voice if you want to. This is a nice chance to feel a lot of vibration through humming in the head. To feel that deep feeling in the hip, the emotional quality of feeling. Oh, such an intense feeling. Drop the hands, rise up with curiosity, arching through the body, and then just as curious, look back and come back. Allow yourself to rock into crawling, to move your hands forward and to bring the second leg forward, foot to the side, and begin to undulate your way into sliding that back leg back, rocking through your hips, undulating through your shoulders, letting your spine arc, and then guide yourself forward to hold the head, to play with sound, to play with motion, head leading, spine lengthening, even in its dynamic curves. We're not trying to rid ourselves of curves, but to open within them. Remember, the spine is deep in the center of your body, and you can do these little movements, these little snake-like explorations. Rise up with curiosity to look out in the great distance, like an otter's attention, very fascinated, or a prairie dog, and then just as curious, rounding your back, come back to all fours. Rock a little bit, and from rocking, sit back on your haunches, on your heels, and widen your knees to the edges of the mat, rocking your pelvis down between them. Then resting your belly down, extending your arms into extended child pose, resting the forehead. This is an arc of the front of the body, feeling openness through the front and under your arms. Letting go, letting go. The more you have intention to release yourself, to work with yourself, the more you gain, the more you undo, the more pleasant, the more you learn about yourself. The heart is dropping right towards the ground. Then look up, undulating your shoulders to crawl up like an animal a bit, and bring your knees together. Spring forward and curl your toes. Rock into downward facing dog. Feeling the height of that movement as you land on the balls of your feet. You can move around through your shoulders. You can move the hips from side to side and bend the knees or layer the feet onto the earth. Then rock some more through the shoulders, undulating the rib cage, moving, sounding as you want to, as you need to. Oh, no. up on the balls of the feet and down is an option. And then walking your hands as you roll your shoulders, coming back into a hanging forward bend with soft knees. Again, a draped head and upper spine. Swing your arms back in space and then forward and up into chair pose, pumping the breath, fire breath. When you start to feel a lot of warmth in the belly, inhale and rise up. Lengthening to let your tail fall into place as your arms come down. Breathe. Bring the arms forward and up again and make an Y of the upper body as you arch and open the heart, expand the space, lift the chest and head, return to center, and bring the arms to rest as your head releases. Then you start to roll down your spine. Taking this last journey down your own back. When you come to the bottom, rest your hands on the floor by bending your knees and walk your feet the width that you need. It might even be wider than your mat, toes away, so that you can squat down. Some of you will keep your fingers on the floor, fingertips. Others might be able to reach out, sitting in a deep, dynamic squat again. Think of yourself a bit preparing for multitudes of things you might do on stage. If a child was running into your arms, bring your imagination into it. If something you loved was coming to you, or you were reaching out for it. When you need to, come forward, one side of the body, hand and knee, other side, hand and knee, and crawl into balance. One more cat. Let you then release as you come to put your books back to where you need them. So depending, you'll be turning yourself around, and depends. When you're at home, you might be able to face a different direction than I'm guiding you here. Turn your back to the head support and release into the corpse pose right away. And if that feels fantastic to you, stay. If you feel a little out of sorts in your back in any way, then return to that sideways knee and bring the leg up. Sideways knee movement, bring the knee up, and let that massage your back to the ground. Then you can choose to either bring your hands to your body and release your shoulders that way, or to leave them in the corpse pose. Here's where you can think of, if you're in the theater and you're using this to prepare, or at home before you go to rehearsal, what it is that you're seeing in your mind's eye that you would like to focus on in this performance. Feeling the quietness in your body, the openness in your body, visualizing what it is that you have as an intention for the hours ahead of you. Seeing yourself performing in an easeful, dynamic way. Knowing habits that you have and feeling them drifting away from you and making space for something new. Perhaps thinking about connecting to the things around you. And that's what we're going to do as we return, is to open the eyes and begin to see the room. And become present to the colors, the shadows where things have a tremendous amount of light, and then where they have more of a shadow. To notice the lines of things and to follow some of those lines, to take your head over to the other side of the room. Observing color, observing light and shadow. And if there's anything that's moving in your space, like a wind is blowing something, in my room there's a fan oscillating, let that catch your eye. When you're ready, choose to roll and to be mindful as you come up off the floor into sitting or standing, walking away, even as you put your mat away, to continue to be mindful and aware of the choices that you're making and the feeling of moving, and using some of your tools to guide yourself into more ease. All right, that's our basic routine. I hope this worked. It took about 25 minutes, so I would say this is a 30-minute routine, which is kind of what I think is useful to have at this point. Not too much time, but enough time to really come to yourself. All right, you guys.